Welcome to AutoSense, the world's leading community for ADAS and autonomous vehicle technology development. We create best-in-class events, training, and information in order to connect the global community of scientists, engineers, and other automotive industry experts. One such expert joining us today is Bjorn Meyer, Head of Automotive Semiconductor Marketing for Sony Semiconductor Solutions Europe. And Bjorn, welcome back to AutoSense. Good to see you again.
Wonderful to see you again, Carl.
Tell us, what is new in the product portfolio of Sony Semiconductor Solutions for automotive?
Well, I think we've, over the past years, established ourselves quite well as a supplier of 2D image sensors for cameras in the exterior of cars. And then, if you remember, last AutoSense, we even presented that we're active on SPAD detectors for LiDAR applications. So now we're doing the next step, and we're adding occupant monitoring software to our portfolio. So we're making quite a significant step for the company from being a semiconductor supplier to being a solution provider for the automotive industry.
Sure. And Bjorn, you mentioned occupant monitoring systems. So why is it that Sony Semiconductor Solutions, why is it that you have decided to become active in this area of occupant monitoring systems?
Well, everybody in the industry clearly sees that there's a trend towards more safety in the in-cabin. That was obviously driven both by Euro NCAP and then the EU General Safety Regulation. And so far, it has been focusing on the driver. As you know, we recently made driver drowsiness and attention warning a mandatory features on cars here in the EU. So this specific application is quite well covered by specialized software companies, and it's not what we're looking at. However, what we believe is the next step is to make the car safer for all passengers. So as well the front row as well as the rear seat passengers. And that will mean there will be different sensors on the car and a whole different approach to software to cover the whole in-cabin. So, and it can be doing two different things. It could either be detecting the position of an occupant to provide a warning in case you put your feet up on the dashboard, or you could adjust the behavior of the car's restraint systems in case of a crash to better fit the size, the weight, and the position of the occupants. And as a matter of fact, actually, my colleague Jan-Martin Jübner will be giving a talk on this subject. He will be talking about the advantages of such adaptive restraint systems that are based on the fusion of multiple in-cabin sensors.
Bjorn, these adaptive restraints that we've been speaking about, what is unique about this offering from Sony?
So we will be providing the software that allows for the car's airbag, seatbelt, and other restraint systems to better adjust towards the occupant's size, position, weight, and all these things. The sensor set that the OEM uses is by no means standardized, so it could contain 2D cameras, 3D cameras, or in-cabin radar. So what is unique about our software is that we are dealing with these diverse sensor sets and trying to make our software as much sensor agnostic as possible, so that the OEM has a choice of its sensor set and the features they want to offer.
We're speaking today with Bjorn Meyer, Head of Automotive Semiconductor Marketing for Sony Semiconductor Solutions Europe. When it comes to software-defined vehicles, Bjorn, it's a topic we hear quite frequently today in the automotive industry, but how is the topic of the software-defined vehicle reflected in your product portfolio?
Well, we just now talked about in-cabin, and in in-cabin, there still is a lot of sensor configuration. There's no such clear standard of what the configuration will be of the sensors. In exterior, that's quite different. We've seen a lot of OEMs converge towards 3 and 8 megapixel cameras for the exterior, and they have heavily invested in this, including collecting road data for, say, 1 million kilometers for a given sensor ADAS project. So what they want to do is ideally reuse this data, while at the same time they want to add new features, both as software, hence software-defined vehicles, but at certain larger inflection points, they as well want to upgrade the hardware. So our portfolio is now very much centered about offering products that can show a significant advantage over the previous generation while allowing for the reuse of already collected data.
Yeah, and as we've been talking, Bjorn, is that possible? Is it possible to upgrade the camera and then actually reuse that data? Is that something that you can do?
Yes, we're very convinced that it is possible if the sensor performance in all metrics is better than the previous generation, while at the same time we're trying to focus on keeping the fundamental approaches and dimensions, mechanical characteristics of our products the same, so that there is a lot of reuse as well on the hardware side. And if you achieve this, then the data collection can probably be reduced to only a limited delta data collection for some corner cases. And you can even front load some of these activities if you work with some of the sensor simulation models that we're offering, because that will help you with the whole transition and allow for reducing physical data collection again to a minimum.
We've been speaking with Bjorn Meyer, head of automotive semiconductor marketing for Sony Semiconductor Solutions in Europe. Bjorn, thank you for being with us, for sharing your expertise and your thought leadership, especially on things like software-defined vehicles, which are so prevalent in the industry today. Thank you again for being with us, friend.
It's been my pleasure, Paul. Thank you.
For more information on Sony Semiconductor Solutions and to find out more about our upcoming events, see the links in the description. And for more in-depth interviews like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel and join the AutoSense community on LinkedIn. In Detroit, on behalf of AutoSense, I'm Carl Anthony.